Hi, this is Better Health by Monica, and I'm going to show you how to make the best gut healing drink, bone broth. You can get bones from your local butcher, health food store. You can also use bones that you have saved in your freezer from a roasted chicken or ribs or even fish. You just want to make sure that you're getting high quality bones from animals that have been grass-fed, pasture-fed, organic, or wild fish, because we don't want antibiotic or hormone treated or corn fed animal bones, because that's just not going to be a healthy option for us. I'm also going to share with you a convenient way to drink and store your bone broth. This little trick will free up room in your freezer. It will make the bone broth last a little bit longer and make it more convenient for you to drink. And how to give yourself a little nutrient boost when you drink it. So be sure to stay tuned towards the end for that. All right, let's get started.
I'm using beef bones today that I picked up at my local Whole Foods. Beef bones have a higher gelatin content, and they add a little bit more flavor to the broth. Chicken bones are good too. They have a little less gelatin, but they're also a little bit easier on the stomach. You can add a mixture or just one depending on your preference. I'm also adding leeks and ginger for more flavor, so you can throw any vegetables or herbs like rosemary, thyme, or oregano. Just be mindful of food sensitivities and garlic and onions if you're following a specific diet. I am using a pressure cooker today. This makes the process super quick and easy. You can make bone broth over the stove, but it will take twice as long, and if bone broth is going to be a regular thing in your life, you will not regret investing in one of these. The first thing that you do is roast your bones if they're not already roasted. So if you're using roasted chicken bones, then you can skip this step. You're gonna roast them in the oven for about 30 minutes to an hour at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, or until they look like this. These were in there for maybe 40 minutes. They are juicy and just roasted enough to add that flavor. Prepare your vegetables or herbs, throw it all together, and add water just below the line. Put that cap on, hit pressure cook until you get to 4 hours, and that is literally it. Once it is done, you can natural release or quick release like I do. The next step is to take those big chunks of bone out, and you're gonna want about 4 or 5 jars to strain the bone broth into. Here I have a strainer. I had to get a little creative because I had the camera in one hand. I place my jar under the strainer, and then I ladle the bone broth into the jars. Or you can just pour the broth directly into the jar, being careful not to spill all the broth you just made. Warning, don't taste it yet. It is incredibly hot and you will burn your tongue. Clearly, I lead by example. And then just place those jars in your fridge overnight. So you can stop here and just enjoy your bone broth as is. But I'm going to show you how to separate the fat, and also another convenient way of storing and drinking, because you can see that these jars take up a lot of room in the fridge. So the next day, you will see that your fat has separated and solidified. So what I do is just spoon out the fat and use it for cooking. If it smells a little gassy, that is totally normal. There's your fat for cooking. If there's a little bit of fat left in the broth, that's okay. All right, now I'm going to show you how I store the bone broth as ice cubes. I recommend a silicone ice tray, a big one or little one. It just makes it super easy for the bone broth cubes to come out. Pull that pressure cooker back out, pour the bone broth back in. You can also do this on the stove. It's just going to take a little longer. Keeping the lid off, you're going to press saute about 4 or 5 times because we are going to reduce the broth down. You don't have to reduce it as much as we did, but we only have one ice tray, so we had to reduce it pretty far. But if you have more ice trays, then you can do about half of this and get more cubes out of it. Carefully pour the broth in the trays and then carefully carry the tray to the freezer. All right, now let me show you how I drink it. Finally, we get to drink it. So we've got our bone broth cubes. First, I boil some water. I prep my mug, take out one of my bone broth cubes. This is why you want silicone, because it's a lot easier. Look at that. Nice little bone broth cube. Place that in the mug. I add a little bit of pink Himalayan salt or sea salt. Now here is your option to give yourself a little nutrient boost. L-glutamine supports the gut lining, and cod liver oil has some essential fatty acids. Cod liver oil in liquid form is not for everybody. The taste may not be your favorite. They do put a little lemon in it, so it's not bad. I really like it, and it's a great way to get those essential fatty acids. But if you don't want to risk it, then cod liver oil capsules work fine. And now I slowly slowly pour the boiling water over this concoction, little at a time so that everything can dissolve properly, and voila, you have a gloriously nutritious gut healing bone broth that you can enjoy every morning. You can follow me on Instagram at Better Health by Monica. Thanks for watching.